Howdy, howdy, and welcome to My Bloody Judy with your final forgets, myself, Zachary Patton Garcia.
And Ian Carlos Crawford. And today joining us as the opening kill, we have author of Surrender Your Sons and Your Lonely Nights Are Over.
Do we all have a copy of it? What?
We do.
That's wild. Hey, how many
Final
copies do you have?
copies.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in frame.
And then there's one in my whole thing.
We're still going. We're still
I got 10
going.
total. I got, company sends me 10. So yeah, final forgets, final copy.
I want to hear a little bit about this book from your mouth, Adam. Because we can't do spoilers. We can't talk spoilers. But
Spoiler
we get
free.
you right at the beginning of a press tour for this. So
Yes.
It's fresh in your mind right now.
This is my Rosie O'Donnell. I'm going on Rosie O'Donnell.
Mhm.
The year is 1997.
Yes.
I'm a wee baby. Yes. So Your Lonely Nights Are Over. I pitched it as Scream Meets Clueless, and honestly, a lot of people pitch their book as Blank Meets Blank. I am very, very, very flattered to hear from many readers and reviewers actually that they're like, "My God, the comps are true. They're all true." This is for people who are kind of horror aficionados, and for people who are maybe like little, not like scaredy cats, but I guess little scaredy cats, you could say. This is, first of all, this is a story about Deary and Cole. It is two best friends who are two queer best friends. And first of all, I wanted to do a story. I just come off of doing a rom-com. So I wanted to do a story about gay best friendship. And a different type of relationship. Frankly, a more important kind of relationship to me, because not everybody's going to have a relationship or wants to have a relationship, or maybe they will change it up a lot in their lives, but a lot of people are going to have gay best friends that they are extremely close with that will span many decades of their lives, that will be very important to them. So I wanted to examine that, and then this was going to be like an unbreakable duo from the beginning. And that's where you get the Clueless in there, because these are queen bees of the high school. They are funny, they are popular, they're a little bit mean, but in a really actually funny and they earn it kind of way. And there is a LGBTQ club in their high school, but they're not really joiners. They're not really a part of it. Frankly, they don't really super love the bummer energy a lot of those queer club kids kind of give off. In fact, they call them the flops. And they're not really interested in having a boyfriend. I think everybody in the queer club, the flops, kind of really wants this sort of, each one of them kind of wants this little heartstopper story for themselves. And Deary and Cole just don't really want that. And each part is valid. It's just about, this story really is about what different people in the queer community want for themselves versus do they impose that upon another person who is very clearly happy. So like very clearly, Deary and Cole are very happy not being in relationships and just being very close best friends who maybe get a little touchy-feely intimate with each other. It sort of begins like all horror movies do, which is just they're living their lives. And this is sort of the normal, this is the tension they're living with at the beginning. Then from there, everybody becomes obsessed with this new true crime docuseries.
Which was probably
Your Lonely Nights Are Over.
My favorite little like bit you put into it, because I also obsess over a little true crime thing, and would have absolutely been into this Mr. Sandman true crime series.
It's great. Like honestly, this was so much fun to write. So there was this killer, Mr. Sandman, who's kind of a cross between the Zodiac Killer and Richard Ramirez Night Stalker.
Okay.
So little bits of both. This is where Mr. Sandman is. So Mr. Sandman's rules really are, you could be anybody, young, you could be old, any gender, any age. No one was spared in this rampage. It was just, he would kill you if you were lonely, if you had been recently dumped or divorced, if you had, if you were pining over somebody you couldn't have, or just in general, you had a lonely aura about you. He would send you a message saying your lonely nights will soon be over. And then 24 hours after receiving that message, you'd be dead. And this went on for 4 years, then he disappears. So this true crime thing is just like, the show drops and everyone at Deary and Cole's high school is just obsessed, except not Deary. Deary, like, can't be bothered with this. He's like, everyone's being very weird about this. I don't get it. But Cole is like massively into it. He is. I
would be the Deary and Zach would be the Cole. And that's
exactly. See, that's why you two.
Ian's just not like other girls, guys. He's just not like other girls.
Well, I think Ian's default setting is like, I'm annoyed by people.
And so if everyone likes it, I'm annoyed because everyone's annoying.
Yes.
That's like, I'm the Deary, where I'm just like, this is a little popular and everybody should just instead be into the unpopular thing I'm into. Yes. So Cole is like just massively into it. He's just like, yeah, like I know the rules, I know this, that. And so a lot of other people in the queer club are as well. So the problem is, and this is where our story begins. The problem is two of the biggest flops in the queer club, Grover and Gretchen. Grover and Gretchen are two people who just hate Deary and Cole. Specifically Cole. They kind of blame Cole for all their problems, as kind of everyone does, because Cole is gorgeous. Cole is sort of just like, things come very easy to Cole, or so they think. If you ask Cole, he's going to tell you a different story. But a lot of people they project a lot of their hopes and dreams and just all their shit onto Cole. And frankly, Cole is just tired. And so he is ready to, like, as soon as graduation hits, they live in this sort of small town in Arizona. He's just ready to, like, go to LA and, like, be a director. And Deary's going to come with him and be an actor. That's their plan. So as this begins, Grover and Gretchen receive these odd text messages from weird numbers that they've never been texted before. And it's a message that says, your lonely nights will soon be over, which is the message that Mr. Sandman would send, where 24 hours later, you'd be attacked. So what happens is these text messages, because Grover and Gretchen have been in such constant conflict with Deary and Cole, everybody thinks Deary and Cole are behind this somehow. They're pranking them. They're bullies. They have been painted as such. So basically, and it turns out these are real messages. So I won't say what happens to Grover and Gretchen because it's much more interesting what actually happens. But lots of twists and turns from there. But it basically sets off a killing rampage where it's clear that Mr. Sandman has returned, whether it is the original from the 70s or whether it is a copycat. So Deary and Cole, but nevertheless, it's very clear that Deary and Cole are being coordinatedly blamed for these attacks. They're being framed. So the whole plot of this is Deary and Cole, deeply annoyed as ever, have to pair up with this queer club that they hate because they are all being targeted by this Mr. Sandman killer. And if they do not unmask this killer, they are going to go down for these killings. So it's sort of like in Scream, if like Billy and Stu were innocent, but then like everybody was like, okay, well, these two that are like hugging a lot and like draped on each other.
Put that on the poster. If Billy and Stu were innocent, Your Lonely Nights Are Over by Adam Sass.
It's an alt world sort of retelling where Billy and Stu are like really innocent, and it's like, wow, Sydney really set them up. So he was wrong about Cotton. Wrong again.
That's what we're gonna find out in 7. It was Sydney the whole time.
Yes. So spoiler free. That's like all you're gonna get in basically the first chapter of Your Lonely Nights Are Over. And there are 40 chapters. So
there's a lot of books. It's a good bit of story. You've got how many pages? 400 and 11, 12, 13?
406. 13. The back like 4 pages are me acknowledging
yeah,
my dogs and my family.
There you go.
So if you want to read those, read those. But the
Hefty
story,
book,
the scoop
hefty
is
book,
4 to
yes.
6.
I would like to tell everyone I read the first draft of this book, and I loved it even when I remember Adam, you and Adam and I were hilariously exchanging pages of writing, and then Adam got a book deal for it. And I was like, well, I guess I had
That's so
nothing more to say.
cute. There you go.
Oh, no.
See?
And
That's
Adam was so
great.
nice about it. Adam was like, we could still workshop. And I was like, I don't want to workshop a book that's getting
I don't want your pity workshop. Don't give me a pity workshop.
But even the first draft, I like genuinely loved. And I think it was what, Adam, like 50 pages that I read. I feel like it's a credit to you to say like, oh, I liked that first draft, which was framed very differently. And then I loved that. And I was like, oh, I'm going to like this book. And then I still love the book in the new form that it took. And like, I don't know, I feel like that's a good credit to you, Adam, to be like, yeah, this was very different when I read it the first time, and I still loved it both times. Like, that's pretty impressive.
It's a really
I
fun
appreciate
one.
it.
It is really fun, and I really appreciate Deary and Cole as the like you described them, the popular kids, the people that people are a little bit envious of, a little bit jealous of, but in being the queer popular kids who are envious, and they're not, queer characters are never usually written like that, but in becoming the popular kids at their school, they are then othered by their own group.
Yes.
And so today's topic kind of fits into that. We're going to be talking about the misfits and othered and the outcasts of horror movies.
Zach, I'm so proud of you you literally just stepped on my toes. That was going to be what I was going to say. And I was like, great, this is a segment.
Bitch, we've got it.
We're like this.
we have each
other topics, othering in our,
We've picked, each of us have come up with about 3 or 4 people, right? We're going to go around and we're just going to share some of them. Yes.
I'm so excited.
Talk about our favorite ones in horror.
So
great.
Let's do like one each. We'll go around doing one each.
Well, it's a very horror hour of you.
Are we doing like are we doing like, how long are we spending on each one? Are we like, keep it pumping?
Just go. We don't have to talk about the whole movie, just your character. Ooh. Just stick to your character. Okay.
So Adam, you go first with one of yours.
Yes.
Oh, so we're doing one. Okay.
Yeah.
Since we're in the world of Scream, not a very popular character, but I do have something to say about Robbie Mercer from Scream 4. Mm-hmm. Often overlooked in a movie full of loud people, because he's the gay one. He's sort of killed on a gag line. I
didn't think he was gay though. I read him as straight.
I go back and forth with.
You did not read it straight.
I did. Yeah, I don't know.
The way he says it reads as like a straight guy saying it, but I there's a part of me that goes, but I go back and forth each time I watch it, whether what I think about it. But continue. Sorry.
Yeah, good.
Like, honestly, Jill is more of a gay man than Robbie. She's our gay man. Every gay man I know is just a chill waiting to happen. But we're not waiting. Happened 5 years ago. No one caught it. So Robbie is interesting to me because like I often think about some of these characters who are maybe a little bit more shortchanged, where maybe because of the actor, maybe wasn't quite tapping into it. Maybe it's like, because it was 2011. I think that at the time we were maybe not doing gay characters who were femme at all.
Yeah.
I think the thing of that era, the more I think back, the more I'm like, oh, we were really pushing for, no, they're just like, if
they were femme, it was like the gag. It was like the clown.
And I think there was a big push to be like, we're not doing that. So, love the seesaw. Love that we just can't be everything. We got to just be the one thing. And then whatever we've done too much of, then we got to go hard the other way. Love it. It's not exhausting at all. Definitely feel heard. So Robbie Mercer is interesting because, like, again, he's this sort of little dweeb who follows around Charlie, and it just sort of annoys Gail. He's filming everything. And
what about Sydney? What about Sydney?
We get these little glimpses of like the future femme gay he'd be.
If he was a gay man, he would care about Sydney and Gail.
That's the
debunked.
Exactly. I feel like it's a house of cards picking apart this character, which is why I'm like, I picked him, because I feel like the script and the direction and the acting others.
Okay.
I feel like I want to pick apart this character, because that's the other thing is, it's weird because sometimes I follow because I've seen this movie a lot, obviously. And whenever I follow a movie, sometimes I just give into the flow. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I will sit there and I will try my best to follow the logic of that. And then I will try to fill in like, okay, given if I take everything you're telling me at face value as the truth, what is this boy's story? And the fact is, like, he's in love with this friend who's like kills him, and like as he comes out to him, and it is sort of this sort of nightmare of just that, and that like it is this sort of kind of like this life, you know, cut short. It is sort of like almost sort of a late 90s. This is sort of like the late 90s gay coming out nightmare, that like you come out to your friend
and they put on the ghost face mask and
it would go this bad. Yeah, I think that's and that's what always makes me very, very sad for him. A lot of my choices are sad. A lot of my choices are not like she is, because I know Ian, all your choices are like
sad. These sorts of characters.
She is othered, honey. She is othered. My choices are all like, ugh, makes me so depressed. So this is
I don't know if I've ever read into Robbie Mercer like in a depressed sense either.
I'm like very depressed by this. Like every time, like it's just like he's this sort of unfinished business.
It is a very close reading. Yes,
it's a close reading, and I wanted, because like it was between this and Jesse from Freddy's Revenge, and Freddy's Revenge is just very covered. Love it, and that is more obvious because it's like being played as such, and they were not. Again, I'm not saying like, oh, I wish movies were like they were in 1984, because that was not a great time. But there was a freedom to having to play in this way.
But Zach, what is one of your picks?
Oh goodness. Okay, so I've been rotating my list a good bit because I've just like there's so many good ones.
Mine.
I'm gonna start with Midsummer, which is a terrible movie. I hate this movie. I saw it once. Don't ever need to see it again. It's got good stuff, but it's just overall just bad movie, right? But we're not talking about the movie. We're talking about the characters.
It makes me anxious. It makes me anxious.
It has good stuff. It has really good stuff. It's just like so packed with bullshit. Danny.
And saying you don't like it makes me anxious either. So also
Danny is a really good is a really great othered character, and she's othered because of her grief and other people not knowing how to deal with it, right? And not knowing how to deal with her. She doesn't really have community of her own, doesn't really have friends. Have friends of her own. Do you want this character, Ian? And instead she's kind of having to latch onto the only people that she is just trying to pull some sort of
like normal.
She's trying to keep it together. She's trying not to lose her fucking mind. And so she's clinging onto her boyfriend and her boyfriend's friends, right? But she doesn't exactly have her own group of people. And so she follows them. They don't really want her around. You know, she kind of is the wet blanket on all of them. Yes. They all get high. She has a freak out. You know, it's just they don't know how to deal with somebody who is actively grieving like this. And I think in that, her character is so fucking interesting because she just, and obviously, every person on my list is only on my list because the actor made them the character that they are, right? And so Florence Pugh just owns this. She's so good in this, right? And I just love Danny's exploration of grief, and then by the end, just setting her boyfriend on fire, right? Just watching her boyfriend burn and being
I mean, that probably would make me feel better too.
Finding her own family. Am I gonna be in a bear costume? Am I gonna be in your backyard in New Jersey, set on fire at midnight?
I swear,
like Adam having fun with Zach.
These movies are like why I'm glad I don't like live like right near you, Ian, because I feel like I'd be like wrapped into this. I'd be like disposing of a burn thing.
I'm like, Adam, do you want to help me throw away Zach's body wrapped in bearskin that got burnt up in a tent in my backyard?
I may catch fire. You may get me with fire, but if you want to stab me in the stomach, I'm good. I'm alive.
So I don't know if I've told you both this, but the wild thing is I saw that movie with my friend, got stoned in the parking lot, and as I was getting stoned was like, oh my God, today's the anniversary of Chris's death. And like then saw that movie, and
it's
was
incredibly
like,
anxiety inducing. It is like, it has a bunch of really great stuff. That opening of that movie, truly, I've never been so unsettled. That like beat The Exorcist for me.
Because of the opening, I thought I was going to love it. And then I felt the same way you do, Zach.
It was just a lot of going, a lot of still going. And then we're still going. Yes.
I would have liked to see on screen.
Yes.
But yeah, I saw that movie and I was so, like, it was the first year that I forgot about the anniversary of Chris's death. And then like walking into the theater and I was like, oh, her family's dead. Oh, this is about grief, motherfucker. And I'm so stoned. Like,
there it is.
I like wanted to leave. But okay, so I'll go to my list. Who do I want to say first? You know, I'm going to say, because I probably have the least amount to say about her, is Taryn from Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. She is my favorite character in that movie.
Do you want to quote it? I need you to quote it if you're going to do it. Okay. And they got to give performance here. Give performance.
Wait.
You have pizza? You just hold up 2 pizza slices. Okay.
I got pen. I got a pen and a paintbrush where she's like, let's dance, asshole. And like, I just think that's so good. And she looks so cool and punk. And like, I hate that she dies in such a, like, the way he kills people in that movie is so like, not just like awful death, but it's like humiliating.
They have actual issues, and their issues are killing them, like, right?
Used against them, and like he like has his fingers turning needles and kills her, and she's like an addict in recovery, and like that's how she dies. And it's so like, bleh. And everyone in that movie is an outcast, right? Like everyone, like Nancy comes in to help the outcasts. But she's my favorite because she gets the cool 80s punk rock look with the fucking mohawk, and I love that she like builds this confidence. And I mean, I hate that then she immediately dies, but I like a character that she's like so quiet up until then, right? Like,
what does she say? She's beautiful and bad.
Yes.
Like, it's great. That's good. Yeah, I was hoping you were going to do that.
But like, and I like that she gets all this confidence and gets her, like the way she envisions herself as like cool and beautiful is like super fucking 80s punk rock mohawk girl with knives. And I'm like, yes, fucking kill Freddy. But then she dies. So and Zachary and I saw the actor at HorrorCon. And
we did. We didn't. She asked if we were going karaoke, which we thought she was inviting us. We show up. She wasn't even fucking there.
She wasn't even there.
She just said, are you coming to karaoke? We said, yes, if you're going to be there. She says, I'll be there. And she wasn't. She lied.
Adam, who is next on your list?
Oh, first of all, before I do that, I said, when I get to that, I would like to catfish some young queers like that. I want to be like, how about you show up? How about you show up?
Buy this book and I'll meet y'all at karaoke.
Okay, so this one is obviously in, you know, one of my faves, Laura Palmer from Twin Peaks, Fire Walk With Me, which is a horror movie. This is one of the this beats the little piss out of any horror movie. You can see. Okay, I'm not going to go on and on about what.
No, it's fine. I've not seen it. I really want to get into Twin Peaks. So you can spoil it for me though. It's been out long enough. But Ian told me that what was it? The Christmas Log was like the Fire Walk With Me or whatever. We watched a movie called The Christmas Log. The Yule Log.
Oh.
There's this weird horror movie.
And if it's like that, I don't know if it'll be my thing.
It'll be too much nonsense for you because it's almost too much nonsense for me. Fire Walk With Me is one of my favorite, but the show Twin Peaks is better.
Yes, but I do know who Laura Palmer is.
So Fire Walk With Me is like a nightmare of a movie. Like it's just an actual night. Like all of Lynch's sort of post 1990 stuff is just, you could just, if you're not understanding it, just go, this character is having this nightmare. And then you at least have that sort of like bookending experience.
Adam and I watched this together when we both lived in New York. He came over to my apartment and we almost ended our friendship afterwards.
Oh my God, is that true?
Yeah, we watched it. We watched it. I watched it for the first time with you.
No, oh my God. I remember that. So it's just why I said this in the text message when we were talking about these, and I said, now cut this one if it's not appropriate for the thing. But you know what? I'm glad I'm here talking about this. I'm glad I'm here because I got to hear about all these Dream Warriors characters. I never seen that movie. So,
Oh, really?
it's a Freddy movie. I've seen them all.
I feel like you've seen all like those like older horror movies.
I've seen them basically.
But no, I do consider like I feel like Twin Peaks and like there are shows that like I guess aren't horror, but I do feel like are in the horror, and I do feel like Twin Peaks like
yes, love it or hate it,
yeah,
it is horrifying. It is, you feel afraid, you feel dread during it. And so the big thing about this one, so Fire Walk with Me is both a prequel and a sequel to the show. And if you find that sentence I just said aggravating, then the movie will aggravate you. Yeah. It is not like, oh, there are scenes that are sequels and there are scenes that are prequels. It is a prequel and sequel happening at the same time. And so basically the prequel part is we are detailing the last 7 days in the life of Laura Palmer. Laura Palmer's death, obviously.
Oh, that's so dark.
It's very dark. So Laura Palmer is homecoming queen. Her death starts the show, like a pilot episode of the original series. It's body of the homecoming queen washes up on the shore, and it's a big murder mystery about how to unravel it. Spoiler alert for anybody who has never seen the show. I'm about to spoil it. So turn, zoom ahead
it's
or whatever.
Been out long enough.
You have had your time. You were not going to see it was her father. So
yeah.
So
it's I think that's one of the best episodes of television when you find out.
It's when they do find out is one of the best things Bob Iger ever did accidentally.
Yes, accidentally.
Forced David Lynch to reveal it too soon, because if David Lynch had his way, he would have never revealed it. Which I think is a little excessive. I do think it ended prematurely. So I don't like that. But David did come and swing and just did a terrifying. A lot of my book, Surrender Your Sons, big horror moments kind of came directly tonally out of that episode where the killer is revealed, and from Fire Walk with Me, which has to do with the last 7 days of Laura's life. And this is why she was the very first name on my top outcast other people in horror, is because she is to me, she's the ultimate final girl, even though she is famously dead.
This is getting wild, man. I feel like I'm on drugs right now.
Yeah. So long story short, this is a big movie for it's gotten a big resurgence with the Criterion Channel folks. Like, a lot of people end up picking this movie when they do this Criterion closet videos that, like, directors and whatnot. It's gotten a lot of, it was like booed at Cannes because people love booing. It's either ovation for 20 minutes or booing. There's no like just they applaud for a second. It's just the two. And so there's an extremely negative reaction. It got done really dirty. And I think it was maybe the very first, if not the first, one of the first movies that had been made of an existing TV show. And not like, oh, we're going to do Mission Impossible based off of the show.
Right.
This was like this same people, same actors, same story, just more of that story, but on the screen. So people didn't really know what to do with that. And in this movie, in her last 7 days, you see her descend into, because she's basically been abused by her father forever. But it's this kind of supernatural entity that also, they keep it very vague. Like, is he possessed by this supernatural entity named Bob, who's this sort of man all in denim, who is just frightening, who just creeps into her bedroom. Like, basically every time he sneaks into her bedroom, he looks like Bob. And you don't know, like, is this her coping? So like she changes his face because she
that's
can't
interesting.
Yeah. So we don't know that. And then like there is like the whole point of this is the last week is it's been going on forever. And the only reason she died is because she started to learn the truth. Like, she stopped coping and started coming to consciousness about what was happening. So a lot of this is a lot of this movie, which seems very tragic and it seems very depressing, also just has a lot of triumph to it. A lot of Cheryl Lee, the actress, gives this performance that is just,
Yeah,
and I don't mean this to sound like flippant, like it's literally came out the same year Batman Returns did, and like it's, to me, this is like Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman level, like blonde lady going mad level, like same level. Like it is just, she does this performance that is just completely out there. To this day, Cheryl Lee says that, like, women and incest survivors of every gender like come up to her and are just like, this is the only movie that has ever understood like what it feels like.
Oh, wow.
And it's just how like maddening it feels like, because there's a lot of unreality. And it's just her story. When I hear Outcast, like I'm just, there's not a day I am not thinking of her. This character, she's not like a character to me. Like she's a person, and so her coming to realization about this is her sort of taking that power back.
Mhm.
And even though she is killed, because of this knowledge, the brave thing she did, which was sort of coming into that knowledge. And so it's just, if everything I'm saying sounds like gobbledygook to you, I promise, go watch the movie. It's mad.
Would I be able to watch the
great.
movie without watching the show?
I did.
Okay.
It was actually the first thing I saw. Yeah.
That's what I'll do then. Yeah.
I would say, like, because I think a lot of the reasons the fans maybe didn't like it at first was because they cut out a lot of the side characters. Kyle MacLachlan, who's the main Agent Cooper of the show, sort of isn't really in it. All you kind of need to know is that, like, there's this sort of interdimensional sort of hell realm called the Black Lodge. That's all red curtains and the black and white floor.
Like Adam's blanket on his chair.
Like this right here.
What?
Thank you, Ian. Anyway, so like that's the only thing that like you probably couldn't like piece together on your own. But like I think it's probably better because you're really just it's honestly just it's a ride. I'm gonna admit, like, I'm not gonna tell you you're gonna love it. It's not for everybody. But it's, if you give it a chance, you don't have to watch the whole show. This movie is on its own. This movie is on its own.
But okay, Zach.
Yes. Anyway, go.
What is your next one, Zach?
Oh, are we on me? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, goodness. Let's do. Let's go with. Okay. Has everybody seen May or no? It's got Angela.
I have not seen May.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go with it anyway. May.
Yes,
May.
I used to look at the VHS cover in Blockbuster when I was younger.
Angela Bettis is one of my favorite like horror movie actors. She's one of my favorite actors in general, but like in horror, she's really good. And she hasn't gotten. She has Bettis. Angela Bettis, but she has not. She also played Carrie at one point, which I also have on my list. But she.
Wait. Carrie? Was she Carrie in?
She was in the like sci-fi version or whatever that they made,
okay.
like back in the early 2000s, which was also very, very good. But she just plays outcasts and misfits like so well, like just to a T. So May, when she was a child, had a lazy eye, right? And so she would wear an eye patch and didn't really make friends with other kids. Other kids kind of bullied her, or they othered her, and her mom said, well, if you can't find friends, make one. And she gives her this doll. And so when May grows up, she still has this doll that's in a glass case. She keeps it in this glass case. She doesn't really touch it. And her only friend is this doll. And she's kind of this adult who is not very well socialized, kind of still outcast, doesn't really know how to interact with people, and hyperfixates on people's body parts, right? So she, who's the guy? It is, Jeremy Sisto is like a guy that she is like really interested in because she just sees him on the street one day and she's obsessed with his hands, and so she just watches his hands. And then Anna Faris, she's really obsessed with Anna Faris's neck, and she starts
Faris is in that movie?
Yeah, and she starts making as a lesbian. So she starts making these like little relationships, but she just doesn't know how to fit, right? She can't make herself fit, and things just start going wrong. She's not really making these friends like she thought she was going to. This guy that she likes, he thinks she's weird, and so she in her frustration breaks her doll and needs a new friend. So in order to just kind of snap and start killing everybody else and getting their body parts to make her own new friend, she starts assimilating more and gathers her confidence more. And she's not like a hero or anything. She's very much the villain, but she gathers confidence and kind of not becomes normal, but just moves through the world a little bit easier because she knows she has an objective, and that's to like get these guys' hands, get her Anna Faris's neck, get other people's body parts, and by the end she makes her own very own best friend. And
That's wild. I love that.
Yeah, she takes her own eye out too in order to give the doll eyes. So it's great. But
when was it made?
May.
It was made in 2000, I think, or 2001.
So if you just type May movie, it's on Amazon Prime, I think.
In the 2000s, Anna Faris did everything. She got like a lifetime. Yeah, her IMDb is beefed.
But the highlight is Angela Bettis, because she is just phenomenal at and the thing that I really love about her is that it's the performance of Angela Bettis that really steals your heart and like makes you care for this clearly insane woman, right, who's like chopping up people and taking their body parts and kills a cat. And I hate when there's an animal death, but you just
there's an animal death. Movie. Yes. You two are insane about animal death.
And Angela Bettis,
I was just gonna say, I was like, I'm not watching that.
Angela Bettis just has my heart, and I'm just like, oh, but she was frustrated. So
wait, go back. But what do you mean we're insane about this? That's because a normal thing to be mad about.
It should be. You're not. You're the outcast here. You're the outlier.
I'm othering you. Yeah.
Othered. Ian, what's your next one?
My next one is Theo from Haunting of Hill House, the Mike Flanagan
original
Netflix show.
Which I just saw. I saw for the second time last week, and I just showed it to my husband.
Wait, no.
Him for the first time last week.
Wait, you're talking about the show, the movie,
the show.
Right? The show. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he said show in the text message.
Oh, okay.
Nana.
Yeah, no, I love Theo. Is one of my favorite characters, like in general. I think
it was Michael
Kate,
too. Yeah,
Kate Siegel or Katie? It's Kate.
Kate
right?
Siegel. Yeah,
Kate Siegel. I think she portrays that character.
Maybe it's Katie Siegel, because then like there's
now we're both mad.
And then there's a Katie Seagal somewhere out there. It's just wild,
the opposite of Seagal. Yeah.
Okay, so it's probably Kate. She's great. I love that Theo is like, it's so weird that Mike Flanagan, a straight man, wrote this character, because she is one of the most nuanced gay, like queer characters I've encountered in anything, especially in horror. And like,
he's got to have a lesbian sister. So like, there's no.
I think I did read that.
They
like,
can't pick that up on their own. They can't. Right.
And like, she's messy in a way that's not like offensive straight guy writing her. She's like allowed to be like genuinely.
Like I mentioned before with Robbie Mercer, this was not written from a place of fear. He allows Theo to go to these places, and that is why
she works.
That's why I don't like to say rep, because it's like, it's just, you can just allow.
Well, it feels like a real person with genuine reactions to situations, right?
And I remember when this show came out, Adam, I don't know if you remember this, but I remember I hadn't watched it yet for whatever reason. And I remember you saying, you have to watch this because Theo is you.
I did. So when we were watching the show this last week, basically like a ghost of you showed up in my house. Just going like, Theo's great. Oh, when she falls off the couch at the wake.
The funeral is I think that's a fucking fantastic episode.
Of course.
That's a beautiful episode.
Like, that is me. That has been me the last 10 years since Chris died, where it's like, don't fucking tell me what to do. Like, yeah, I'm drunk and I'm gonna fall over. Don't look at me, don't touch me. Like, I'm gonna be a mess. And
Theo could like barely bear that personality for 48 hours before cracking. So, and you've maintained that for 10 years. Yeah.
I'm glad you can't touch things and just feel them, right? I'm glad you don't have this little ability. It would be a little too much. Because if you're Theo without superpowers, then
and I just appreciate that she also was kind of a dickhead, and like, that's okay.
Yeah.
Like she sleeps with? Is it her?
She's the like character that usually is traditionally written as a man who's like the asshole in the family, the asshole sibling, right?
Mm-hmm. And just recently, my aunt was like, you're not approachable, and I was like, excuse me, and like, so
let me put my gloves on because I'm getting heated.
And it like reminded me of Theo again.
You're taking them off. You do the like, well, I'm gonna take these off right now. You're this. Is this in your Puerto Rican? Like I was like, who says this? Like I just don't
the Puerto Rican
like
side
that to people. I was gonna say, I was like, this feels like this.
You know what Puerto Rican doesn't like? Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I was like, I know, yeah, I know your white Republican family side is not gonna they'll destroy you in some other way, but like, yeah.
Adam and Zach have heard. I feel like they know my family in and out at this point from hearing so much about them.
I'm learning names.
But yeah, I feel like, I mean, all three of us, but I feel like Adam, I remember you and I talking about it, like after I watch it, like that is a queer character we would like to write. Like that is a queer character that is like done so well and acted so, like there's no part of it that feels like, oh, this is a straight person creating a queer character.
Everything I want to do, and like it's a shame that it's like, it's the only shame is that it's like adult. Yeah. Because, and that's kind of why Lonely Nights, that is why I wrote my characters this way, is because like I wanted to see like, okay, how young can I make these assholes? Because like a lot of YA stuff, and because a lot of stuff, I mean, like but I don't know how many folks out there are like big YA readers versus like seeing the YA shows to kind of make it to screen, which is a very small amount versus like what's actually out there. There's a lot of really cool stuff out there, on top of the cool stuff that's like kind of being shown, but a lot of stuff that makes it to like your television set is what's allowed, is like the sweet stuff. And we're sort of not being allowed to be Theos right now. And that's a big, huge reason why I wrote Deary and Cold the way I wrote them, because like I needed to be able to just get into the skin of these characters. So Theo's great.
You know what's funny, Adam, is because you had told me before I read the book, there was a little bit of me and Zach. I was like, I hope they don't actually kill each other or something. Like I kept waiting for there to be like, I mean, kind of spoiler, but they're best friends. I was like, is there going to be like a twist where like they kill each other?
Yeah, I don't know. I was a little like suspicious of that too when you told me that, because we would not have gotten along in high school. Like we are becoming fully formed adults, well-rounded. In high school, like completely unhinged. Very reactive. We would absolutely not have been friends.
I mean, and I'm 12 years older than you, so there just wouldn't have been a time when we were in school together.
Exactly. I was still in, elementary.
You were not born. God. Adam, what is your next pick?
Okay, so I'm going supernatural with this one.
And we're doing 3 picks, so this is going to be your last one. So
totally fine. Okay. David Kessler from An American Werewolf in London. So this one is I mentioned this a bit. You can.
I love how much you love this movie.
I do, and you can catch my extended thoughts. I'm not sure to like talk up another podcast on this thing, but I did talk like for 90 minutes about this over at Midnight Mass, our good friend Michael Varati's show with Peaches Christ. But David Kessler in this one is really cool because it's a very simple story, and this is a very simple character kind of done in this very like friendly guy way. And a lot of folks can imprint on this character because the werewolf story is very bendable. You can it's like the werewolf is sort of made for othering. Yeah. It's literally like the first Wolfman story was the Universal Pictures 1944 one was written by a Jewish man who had escaped
Holocaust.
Basically, yes.
Nazi Germany. I didn't know that.
I didn't know. I was trying to remember the country, but I just whatever. Like again, he fled persecution. But yes, and so a big part if you do watch Universal's Wolfman, it is written very through that lens. And a lot of really, really good werewolf movies will do that, where they will do it's a stranger in a strange land type stuff, where it's like,
Yeah.
you look like everyone in town, but everyone in town knows something's up with you.
And he's totally the straight guy you and I would crush on.
Billion%. Don't call him straight. That ruins my whole situation.
Ruins your whole situation. Which one are we going?
That ruins wrecks my whole. Don't ruin the whole situation.
Zach, what is your next choice?
My next one. Let's do. Ian, which one? Oh, you did Theo, didn't you? That was your second. Okay. I won't go into it, but Carrie was like gonna be my third one. But if we're only doing three, I'm gonna go with Nell from The Haunting. But like Carrie, you know, I love that she just like really quick. I love that she just, you know, was this outcast who decided to kill all of her bullies. So whatever. My third pick officially is from the movie The Haunting, the 1999 one, and Nell, played by Lily Taylor. Again, it goes with performance for me. If you can steal my heart as an outcast, I will root for you the entire movie. And Lily Taylor just has to pop up on screen in anything that she's in, and it'll steal my heart. So she is a character who has isolated herself and been isolated by circumstance and is taking care of her like sick mother. She has this, you know, kind of PTSD where she'll lay in bed at night and she'll almost hear phantom bangings on the wall, which would be her mother banging her cane for Nell to come and help her, right? And so she learns about she's going to be evicted from this apartment by her sister and her sister's husband after the mom has died. And so she's got to figure out what she's going to do. She doesn't really have any money. She hasn't really been working because she was taking care of the mother. And so she decides she reads this ad in the paper to go and stay in the house. And you read the book, Ian, right? So like, you know, that everybody goes and stays in the house, and it's like an experiment. And they want to see if anybody can, you know, is sensitive to like the haunting or whatever. So everybody goes and stays there. And then she starts connecting with people and finally clicking with people. And, you know, her oddities aren't as odd. And like Catherine Zeta-Jones is super nice to her. And Catherine Zeta-Jones is just this fabulous, you know, woman who's like really great to her, right? Like not a mean girl.
I like that.
Very Gale Weathers, man. I'm telling you, it's the exact same type of character. And Nell, throughout this entire movie, it's just her journey, taking charge of herself, her situation, protecting, you know, newfound friends, and coming out the hero at the end, even though she does die and becomes part of
I forgot she does.
Becomes part of like a statue on the wall or something like that. Yeah. It's like, it's whatever.
Or like kind of becoming part of
like,
the like,
yeah, she like
the wall.
She's like, have a great life, everybody.
Right. That one, it's like the first 30 minutes are accurate to the book and then nothing else is. But like the characters are more accurate than they oddly are in Mike Flanagan's.
And Lily Taylor as Nell is just fantastic. She's just wonderful, and you know, again, steals your heart. So that is my third pick.
I love that you have such a soft spot for like the early 2000s horror stuff.
Of course, those were my formative years of horror. Yeah,
I mean, me too, but I was like 17.
Yes, well, I got into them younger than you, so
because before that it was just Scream that I loved. My third pick is going to be the cast of The Faculty.
You can only pick one, Ian. You can only pick
all of them.
Yes.
Because I was in our group text, I was going back and forth between Clea Duvall and Josh Hartnett, and I was given permission to pick all of them as like and Elijah Wood's character is so fucking queer coded in that movie. Like he is the little faggot, right, Adam? Like
yes. Here's the thing. The teen cast of The Faculty could conceivably fuck anyone at any time.
Yeah,
like you could pair them up. Like it's a whole like you could draw the lines between all of them make sense.
And this
like, it's like, oh, Elijah Wood and Josh Hartnett, like that's a pairing where it's like, yeah.
Could you imagine trying to get these folks back into a single project again all together? Like impossible.
Also, you know, wildly famous.
Like you got like Jordana Brewster. My God, no, like yeah.
Clea Duvall, I drew pictures of her in my notebooks in school because I love
truly the one I thought you were going to pick. And I was so shocked when I did not see her on your list, because you talk about her when it comes to like the punky characters all the time.
And it always makes me mad that at the end of the movie, she's wearing fucking like baby pink. And it's
She's
like,
depressed.
know.
She's depressed.
yeah.
I really want to see an alternate epilogue to that movie.
Yes, please.
Where they're not all like, isn't it great? She's not an outcast anymore because she's wearing her Easter dress.
Like, but like I really liked that we got this like punk goth kind of girl who like wasn't just like, I feel like especially in this era, it was like they were usually kind of, which is so stupid and not accurate, they were kind of portrayed as like the mean characters. Like back in that day, they were like always like kind of the bullies, and it's like that's not how that worked.
Yeah.
But like even though she is kind of mean, she's not like a bully mean. She's just like, don't talk to me mean.
She's got a lot of like
angsty.
Like
she's just
needles.
angsty.
Yeah, she's
right?
like, don't come near me. Yeah.
Clea Duvall is great at playing an outcast and misfit. You know, Marcy is
Absolutely.
perfect.
I would never believe her being popular.
And so like I used to draw like that scene. I would like change her outfit a little bit to like what I wish she had worn in the scene when the like monster grabs her in the pool. And I like that she got to be able to like get like Sydney and Gail, she was able to be beat up a little bit, but not like that doesn't mean she's dead.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because like she gets hit hard when she falls, like it grabs her, and like I think you see like one of her teeth come out, like blood splatters.
It's such a Buffy monster moment. This pool ending. It's very like Sunnydale High.
I love it.
It's probably why it's hitting us very hard on these years.
That I've like always said the faculty is kind of like an episode of Buffy without Buffy, right? Like that could have been a plot of like season 1 or 2 of Buffy. We're like,
absolutely.
And Adam, where can everyone find you and buy your books?
You can find me on all social platforms at the Adam Sass, and you can buy my books, especially Your Lonely Nights Are Over, which is brand new, wherever you buy your books. But I would prefer you get it from your local indie or Barnes and Noble. However, I know there are other sources and not everyone has access to that. Also, even if you've already pre-ordered the books, listen, this is not about me like saying, give me more money. I'm truly like just moved by the spirit of my narrators. The audiobook for Your Lonely Nights Are Over is fabulous.
The only reason I have not finished the book, because I told Adam right before this, I'm about 2/3 through. I do want to, so I'm like, I haven't gotten to the reveal yet, right? So I want to hear it in the audiobook format because I love an audiobook. I love a good narration, and you have hyped it up, so I'm sold on it. So I will be also getting the audiobook.
I love Brando coming in for some attention at the end.
I know, fucking attention whore, man.
But anyway, that's it.
Well, thank you for joining us, Adam. This was
My
so
pleasure.
nice chatting with you. Yes, everyone go buy Your Lonely Nights Are Over or pre-order it if it's not out yet. Yeah, thanks for watching. And
yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.